Hi everybody, welcome to the South Australian Sports Show. Hope you can stay with us for the next hour. Plenty to talk about the show, plenty coming up as well as I welcome my co-host as always, Barry Curtin. Baz, how are you?
Fantastic.
Mate, it could not have been a better Easter weekend.
Well, it could have been a little better.
Well, sorry for some of the supporters, no doubt, with their teams losing, it could have been better, but the weather, what was on and about, no COVID restrictions for us and some of the other states, Queensland a little bit down, but it was a great weekend.
It was a fantastic weekend, mate.
Yep.
Got some golf in, got some footy in, got the family in. It was just a brilliant weekend, except the result.
I'll give you a chance, mate. Do you want to start with the SANFL or you want to start with the AFL?
No, I want to start with cricket.
You want to start with cricket? All right, no, let's go to cricket. What have you got for cricket, mate?
Well done to the Australian women ladies.
Oh, no, please.
Well, no, while we're at it, let's look at the Sackers. Just very quickly, before you jump onto the SANFL, which I want to do.
We've had this conversation before we came on, so I'm happy to go with it.
Which I want to do.
Yep.
The Sackers are in a great spot against Victoria.
Yes.
Were in a great spot against Victoria, you know. How many times they do that, get themselves into a winning spot and lose.
So who's responsible? Is it a lack
of
talent?
Performance.
Is it a lack of talent?
High performance.
The high performance?
No doubts, high performance.
Right.
It's high performance. It's got nothing to do with the players. Well, it's got a little bit to do with the players,
It's got anything to do with Dizzy? Because
Well,
I say no, you know I'm going to defend
he's only been in 1 year, mate.
Yeah, 100%.
You cannot say
100%.
it's Dizzy. You cannot say that.
I couldn't agree more.
But gee whiz, if they want to lift up the covers and go back a few years, they'll find out where it started, where all this rubbish started.
So what should they do about it?
Clean it out.
Yep.
I've got no issue with Dizzy. You stay right there, mate.
It's proven.
You stay there.
They're probably adding weight to your argument now.
Well, they're a bit late.
Brought in a proven coach, and it's still not happening.
A bit late getting him. That was the issue, I think.
Yes.
Keep him, go to your high performance department and go, you, and you. Bang, 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 bang.
Gone.
All over. Because there are people in South Australian cricket right now, good people, that could do those roles standing on their head. And they don't get an opportunity.
So who do you bring in to do it?
Well,
who's the axeman?
Go around the local district competition and have a look at the people that are available. Have a look at these people who have been in the game.
Who should be making that decision? What I'm saying.
Well, I think without getting myself into a corner here, it's not only the high performance, Phil. It's there. It's that level.
Right.
It's
CEO,
general manager. It's there. It's that stuff.
Pretty hard to move them.
It's extremely hard to move them, and there's your problem. There's your problem. See, we've had this out before, where in comes Phil Smythe, and he can't get a game for Victoria, can't get in the team. Well, I'm going to South Australia. So the South Australian blokes go, wow, Phil Smythe, he can't get a game for Victoria, but he's coming up. Well, here's a contract, Phil. There you go, mate. You get an outside at the expense of Max Beasley, who plays for Port Adelaide or West Torrens or someone like that, who's been braining them for a couple of years.
Right.
Chad Sayers is a classic case, mate. Just retired. We're going to get Chad in. We're going to get Chaddy on the program. And they took him 4 years to pick him. He was getting 1 million wickets. He got so many wickets. In fact, one day I thought, I'm going to watch this bloke to see what he does. Why isn't he in the Shield side? I'll go and find out myself. He was playing at Glandore.
What'd you find out?
He bowled 3 overs at Glandore, and I'm on the phone to one of the selectors. Saying, what is going on with this bloke? Why isn't this bloke bowling for SA? Hey, no, he's not quick enough. And he's too small. Sorry? You know, this is the problem. This is the problem. That kid I spoke to you about a few weeks ago who came back from the World Cup, a young Joel Garrett, they told me the reason why he's not in the Sacker squad was because his skin folds weren't the best. Well, this is the problem we're facing at the moment, mate. This is the problem. I watched the Sacker one day when I was working for Optus Pay TV. An hour before the game, we're up there doing sound tests and all that, and watching them out in the Adelaide Oval. And they're running up and down there, and they're sprinting over there, and they're standing there, and they're squatting, and they're doing all this stuff. Where's the bat and ball? There's no bat and ball. But that's the game. See, there are enormous problems within the Sacker. If you get people from district clubs, and that's probably what we should look at doing, is getting a couple of them in here to have a chat. To have a real chat about what is really going on at the Sacker. Because there's a lot of cricket people out there right now, mate, that are really, really disappointed what's been going on at the Sacker for how many
for too long.
Years.
For too long.
You know, the last time they won the Shield, there was 14 district clubs. Now they think, oh, we haven't won any games. Let's get rid of the district clubs. Because some guy at the Sacker believes, oh, well, I'm the chief, I'm the boss. I'm going to get rid of that club and that club, which they tried to do a couple of years ago to Port Adelaide and West Torrens, 250-year-old clubs.
Yep.
Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Yeah. Well, that didn't work all that well, did it?
No.
No, because they're very powerful clubs.
Yeah, of course.
You cannot do it, Phil. You've got
History says that.
Mate,
Yep.
strip it bare and pick 12 SA blokes. That's what I do.
So I hear what you're saying. So to do what you're saying, we need to bring in 3 people with some fresh eyes.
Yep.
Come through and come back, and whatever you recommend is what we're going to do.
Yep.
As opposed to, we'll get your recommendation, but if we don't like it, we're not doing it. So you have to be prepared to go, if you bring these people in and it's going to impact on you, then you have to be prepared to wear it. Otherwise, it's just going to keep going around the way it's going around. So,
well, let's bring in a Victorian.
I don't know who your 3... Well, you could easily find 3 people. Rob Zaddo would be number 1 on my list, as get Zads in and let him go through with 2 other blokes, yourself and Ian Chappell.
Bingo.
And they'll make a decision on how that can play out.
You know,
hey, just quickly, while we're on cricket, I want to move on. And I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I think you're 100% correct. There was an article written in the last couple of days by a female journalist saying that she wanted to congratulate the Australian women's cricket team on breaking the Australian men's cricket record for days without a loss when Ricky Ponting was the captain.
Yeah, 50 over game.
And you go, I looked at it and I went, why are we comparing women's cricket to men's cricket?
That's
and
right.
I've got 3 daughters, so I'm on the women's side, don't get me wrong. And we kind of dance around stuff because it's really sensitive at the moment.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure why we're making that comparison.
Well, we shouldn't be.
Wouldn't we be congratulating them on, well done, you've set some records for yourself?
On your own record.
We're trying to compare to what the men have done.
Yeah, it's true.
I can't
it's baffling.
see... Well,
but it's a sign of the times, Phil.
But they're 2 different... I know you're saying it's cricket, but it's like comparing...
times.
Muhammad Ali with Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
We'll be talking a bit of boxing later on in the show today, but I don't think you can compare.
No,
you can't
and
compare.
you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
The Australian women's cricket team is a terrific team.
Yeah,
who have got some own records of their own.
Absolutely.
Which they should be bragging about and have every right to be bragging about.
But that's what I'm saying, because...
But do not.
If I'd read the article about that, I went, this is fantastic.
It's a great record.
But as soon as they start comparing it to that, I'm going, why do you compare it to them for?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
so it's not relevant.
Well, I think they're a great side. I think the Australian women's cricket team is a great side, but they should be, as you say, writing their own records
history,
and your own history. Forget about the men, because they're never going to be as good as the men. So forget it.
Why compare?
Well, forget it. It's just not going to happen that way. And we got some terrific cricketers, mind you,
outstanding
in the Australian women's cricket team. Yeah. But let's just comparing the Socceroos with the Matildas.
Yeah.
The Matildas are fantastic. I love watching them. Sam Kerr. I see Sam Kerr got another hat-trick for Chelsea the other day.
Yeah.
Best player in the world.
Oh, yeah, what about...
And she's Australian.
OK, well, let's do this one. And I know I'm taking it to the nth degree. We've got the Crows women's team that won the premiership last year.
Yeah.
And the Crows men's team that finished down the bottom of the ladder.
Yeah.
So the Crows women's team is better. Well, let's have a game.
Yeah. That's right.
So you're disrespecting both parties by writing that article. You're disrespecting the Australian women's cricket team, creating their own history.
Mate, I couldn't agree more.
Well, I don't know why they do it.
I get annoyed with it. I get annoyed that we're being
they're creating an us
silenced
versus them.
a little
They're creating
bit.
an us versus them.
Yeah,
and that's what we're trying to get rid of over the years. Hey, I want to talk to you whether Channel 7 would be worried about the AFL on the back of last weekend, because we all know what's important to Channel 7 and the AFL is the ratings. So we want good games on TV because that's what we sit and watch. I'll just read these games to you from last weekend. Carlton defeat Freo by 45 points. Melbourne 34 points over GWS. West Coast by 37 over Port. I know that upset you. Essendon by 75 points over St Kilda. Doggies by 128 over North Melbourne. Sydney by 45 over Richmond. So the other 3 games, the only really good one that was a nail biter was Brisbane Collingwood, which was a kick after the siren on Friday night. So that was close. Crows 10 points over Gold Coast, but Gold Coast probably have the least number of people watching footy coming out of that. And of course we had Geelong by 5 points over Hawthorn yesterday. So my question is this: would TV be worried about it? Because how many people have gone at halftime, turn it off? Well, 3/4 time I'll turn it off. So that affects the sponsors, that affects the people advertising. So now the only way around that I can see early, and maybe it's an aberration, not going to happen for the rest of the season, is you go, they're playing the game at a frenetic speed. So when you make mistakes in a high-speed game, the penalty coming back the other way is pretty high.
Yeah,
so we want the high speed because that's entertaining.
Yeah.
We want the high score, that's entertaining. So now we're saying, well, we need to improve our skills or we need to improve our style of game.
Yeah.
The only way to do that is through the coaches. Oh, hang on a minute, we've cut the coaches' staff back by 3.8 million, so we want better for less.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I didn't take much notice, to be honest, mate, of all the margins, because I believe 5 goals is nothing in the AFL today. You can score that in
10 minutes,
7 or 8 minutes, bang, 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 all over. And sides are very good at it. So I don't really take much notice of that. I think crowds would stay with the game, knowing that oh, no, not today's game. Yeah. Today's game, you can score very, very quickly. No, and sides have been doing it for years.
So
mate.
based on that one,
but look at
I'll give you 6 goals. That gives you 1, 2, 3, 4 games where the crowd would have been walking out at the end of the third quarter that were supporting for their teams getting smashed.
I would have walked out
or turning the TV off at home. So
I would have
we need to get up and rolling, mate. We'll come back to that.